So it's great to be here. It's actually my first time in Moscow, and I'm really starting to like it even from the first experience when I got Wi-Fi in a taxi, which never happened to me anywhere in the world before. So yay for Moscow. So I know that we probably aren't that much known here in the market. If we can do just one more hand raising, who knows Socialbakers? Okay, that's what I thought. So that's why I put the self-promo slide in there, but I'll run through this quickly. So we are based in Prague, Czech Republic. Now we have 9 offices around the world. We don't have one in Moscow yet, even though we have a Russian person in our office in Prague. And the reason why we don't have an office here is we do not support VKontakte yet. But there are some discussions going on, and we are hoping to release it this year. So then we will be able to cover all the major platforms relevant in Russia. So what we actually do is we have a software as a service product where you can log in as a brand and see your stats all across different channels. We do Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and you can benchmark yourself against the market. So the way we are pulling data from those platforms allow us to do benchmarking to your competitors as on one-on-one basis. So if you're Mercedes, you want to benchmark yourself to BMW or Audi, you can do that through our platform. You can figure out what's the most engaging content, the most relevant content, what is a good content strategy when you're pushing the messages towards your fans. So it's all from the content strategy, but also very actionable. So is it better to post on Monday morning or Friday afternoon and things like these. So we do have that, and we also have a small consulting unit to work with the top accounts we have. So yeah, that's just more being proud of ourselves. So we work with 100 out of the 500 Fortune 500 companies. We get over 500,000 visitors to our website, and we are working with currently over 1,400 clients and brands of pretty much any industry. So when I got asked to deliver this speech by Emmanuel, and we had a chat, I was asked to speak about trends, and I was thinking, okay, so what's the next big trend that I should be speaking about? So luckily that's been already partially covered, all the visionary and all the big stuff. And as I was doing my research on Russian market, I found that there are some very maybe basic stuff missing. So instead of talking about the next big thing, I'll be more to the ground, more actionable, and tell you, go social now. I know a lot of brands are active on VKontakte, and I was doing a quick comparison. So one of the largest brands on VKontakte have over hundreds of thousands followers, some even up to 1 million. But for the other social, which isn't really visible, but that's okay, it's not so big. So even the average size of a page in Russia on Facebook is 17,000 fans. In Czech Republic, or actually it's 14, and in Czech Republic it's 17, and there's a big disproportion of those online audiences. So there's some room for catching up, for improvement, and I have a couple of examples how to do that and why it's a good idea to do that in the first place. So a couple of quick stats. You already know the VK numbers up to date. So these are some of the stats coming from Facebook. So 7.5 million monthly active users in Russia, meaning basically every 8th Russian is on Facebook. It's not 70%, but it's growing. Same, it works for the population. I think it's pretty much similar to what Alex showed you, the demographical split. So the biggest group is 25 to 34, and then 18 to 24, 35 to 44. So it's kind of a similar audience. Maybe for Facebook, it might be for some of the luxury brands more relevant. That's what I've heard, and we can look into that. So yeah, as I was saying, the potential is there. 14,000 as an average size of a brand page on Facebook versus yeah, just 17, which is more relevant benchmark than the global one. But what's good, it's definitely growing. So we, on the chart on the right side, you can see the comparison of the growth of those branded communities on Facebook. And that's where actually Russia is growing much faster compared to the global audiences. It might be also because the global audiences are sort of saturated already, but you know, it's growing, which is good. Even though the graph says 0, that's because you know, there are no March numbers yet when I was doing the presentation. So you know, the potential is there, but the Russian brands on Facebook aren't utilizing it as much as you know, we see elsewhere. So these are the top 5 brands by local fan numbers. That's why Badu is first with 8 million, but it's still the biggest one in Russia with 170 something 100,000 fans. And the one of the biggest brands we see there is Audi in Russia, which is good, and it's on the rise. And it's not just about those other brands, but here during the Fashion Week, and we're targeting this audience. So this is a research we do, and you know, if you have a chance, feel free to go to socialbakers.com, where we have lots of case studies and country reports and industrial reports. So we did this one for fashion and beauty in February, again benchmarking pages in that industry. So you know, Converse is currently leading the charts. Then Victoria's Secret. So there are all of, or some of them, most of them on the top places are more of a mainstream brands. But you know, we can see Burberry, Zara, you know, reaching in there, as well as Louis Vuitton, number 10. So it's not just a mainstream thing, but also very successful tool for communication for the luxuries. So one of the studies we did specifically to that, it's not all luxury brands, but we focused on Italy's finest fashion. So we got you know, Gucci, Fendi, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, Liu Zhou, and we looked at how well are they performing in social. So this is the dashboard. It's the actual screen from our product, where it's like benchmarked, in this case by the number of fans. So Gucci has the biggest community, but more importantly, rather than just a simple size, which is kind of a static number, it tells you the volume, but it doesn't really tell you what is going on, what are the trends, what are the interactions. We looked at the fastest growing. So the fastest grower was Liu Zhou. It's one of the smaller ones, but which probably allows it to grow fast. But this was massive, and it happened. And it doesn't have to be like something huge, digital, dedicated activity. In this case, what they did, you know, they were opening a store, and they you know, had Kate Moss being there. So just this announcement of an offline event drew so much attention, even in digital. And of course, it should be supernatural for luxury brands to create and develop great content. You know, I don't see many other industries that would have it as easy to create beautiful visuals, beautiful pictures, and just, you know, by just taking a picture of your products or models, you know, that's how you can really win the fight, not just for the volume of community, but for the interactions as well. So in a nutshell, what my two cents of advice would be, you know, analyze the market, try to understand what's going on, going from both like top down, but going also like looking at your competitors, what are they doing, what can you learn from them. Run campaigns, acquire community, work with the content, and don't be afraid to experiment. And then again, analyze what works for you, what doesn't, And you know, simply, if you don't measure it, you cannot get better at it. And yeah, of course, feel free to ask us for help anytime. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.